To a senator from the Philippines, Sen.Marcoleta. Many thanks for joining us on the program today. Now, of course, we know it's a complex relationship between China and the Philippines. I'm wondering, how should your nation's government respond to China's rescue of Filipino sailors in the South China Sea, and what it means, what this whole incident really means for humanitarian cooperation during these ongoing maritime tensions?
Good afternoon, Moscow. Good afternoon, Nikki. First of all, I'd like to say that I believe my country is very grateful in being able to save lives from the distressed fishermen in the South China Sea. I, for one, would like to extend how grateful my country is and its people for doing that.
And does the resumption of political dialogue between the Philippines and China signal a de-escalation, do you think, in the West Philippine Sea tensions? Or is this simply a procedural reset ahead of the ASEAN-China Code of Conduct talks?
As a matter of fact, our Department of Foreign Affairs is the one which initiated the de-escalation of the growing tension between our two countries in the light of the most recent action taken by the Philippine Senate, which sought to condemn the public statements made by the Chinese embassy very lately in response to some of the discussions and the display of negative memes or caricatures by the spokesperson of our Philippine Coast Guard, which to me is not right.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you also about the Supreme Court of the Philippines stating that the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte was unconstitutional. What do you think about the impeachment in the first place, and why are there repeated attacks on the Vice President, do you think?
The decision of the Supreme Court is correct. As a matter of fact, I was the one who initiated the defense of Vice President Sara in connection with the impeachment complaint filed by the House of Representatives. It was based purely on the categorical decision made by the Supreme Court that in the first place, the impeachment complaint was unconstitutional. It was void ab initio. That the Senate never gained jurisdiction over it, and it was made self-executory. And because of that, we stood our ground on the basis of the position taken by the Supreme Court, and I thought that we should dismiss outright that initiative taken by the House of Representatives.
And how does this ruling affect the Vice President's ability to carry out her mandate?
Well, I think the Vice President has been vindicated because while the House of Representatives filed a motion for reconsideration, our expectation was proven right, because I personally said that given the nature of that kind of decision, it is very hard to reverse that decision. It was unanimous. Not even one member of the Supreme Court reversed himself. And I think the Vice President is very, very happy in said direction.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you believe is most important for the country to focus on after this chapter has closed?
We should focusing more on reviving our economy and to stop corruption, like what we have proven very, very recently, that our treasury was looted by people who are supposed to protect the national treasury, and the people are disgusted, the people are tormented, and they are not happy. They're actually angry, and we're looking at our leadership for accountability and transparency. Somebody should make to account on this, and this is the only way we should grow. People observing us, like the international community, the investors, as well as our multilateral or international creditors are responding rationally. They're looking at us seeking some progress and maybe waiting whether or not we will be able to recover from these doldrums.
According to a new poll, 6 in 10 Filipinos distrust China and view it as the greatest threat to your nation. So how can the cooperation you promote be possible given such public opinion? And to what extent are the people in the Philippines actually ready for a potential compromise?
Because our people are not yet well informed about the complexity of the South China Sea. I think in being able to educate them on our exact position, today many Filipinos are still not able to understand that our claim to the exclusive economic zone is only maritime rights. These are only sovereign rights. But some quarters in our country are saying that, you know, our maritime rights are is equivalent to territory. This is something that they do not understand. We need to grow. We need to educate more of our people so that they will be able to be informed about the complexity of the situation. And only by doing that, that they will understand that we need not to quarrel with anybody. We need not take sides with anybody, because I think international relations is not a zero-sum game.
And you've been critical of the Philippines' growing military alignment with the United States. Why do you believe closer ties with Washington make the Philippines more vulnerable?
Because with the perception that China is our enemy, I don't think that will help us. I would admit that historically, America is our friend. As a matter of fact, historically, America is our ally. But that does not make China our own enemy. We need to be friends to both nations, especially their two superpowers. That is the only way to exist in our part of the world.
A number of lawmakers in the Philippines have said that the American operation in Venezuela, which of course resulted in President Nicolas Maduro being abducted to the US to face charges, has left the Philippines compromised and exposed to double standards. What's your take on that?
To a certain extent, yes, because let's give an example. Recently, a resolution is now being considered in the Senate, and the 15 signatories of that resolution were condemning China's aggression and China's public statements. But more than half of them were unable or failed to consider and even condemn the actions taken by the United States in abducting President Maduro of Venezuela. So there's a double standard here.
And my final question, if I may, in your view, I'd like to know how you think Philippine foreign policy should be shaped in light of all these shifting geopolitical realities.
We should not go that far, Nikki. You know, our constitution always talks about independent foreign policy. That's always be the case. Our direction should always be pursued along that line. We need not take sides. Our friendship can be maintained with anybody, but we should not take sides because everybody is a friend. We are not foe to one. We're friends to everyone and foe to none. That should have been the case from the start and until whenever.
Thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. We've been talking to Philippine Senator Sen.Marcoleta. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.